Shall I refuse to pay rent? Welcome to that video, this video. Welcome back to M Hood Discovered. This whole ceiling is sagging. Why is that? You can see light right there. What is up with that? That ceiling fan doesn't work. There was one in the bedroom, stopped working, had to remove it. It was wired wrong, causing problems. Seems like I'm showing you random things. Look at this. This floor is caving in the kitchen. You can see right here. This whole section right here. It's like this square is caving in. Why is that? So, see that? Let's back up. There's more of it. Look at this. Door rubs the floor when you open it. All right. 2 bathrooms in this trailer. This one is full of junk and doesn't work. And only a portion of this junk is mine. Look at all that. That's not mine. That's not mine. There's like buckets and buckets of random scrap metal in this trailer. So nothing works in here except the light. None of that is mine. Can't even get these to open all the way. None of that is mine. I have a few things in here. Obviously, one of my bikes, the mower, which actually isn't mine. Just a few things. 90% of this is not mine. But here's the second bedroom and the second working ceiling fan. This room smells of mildew. I've lived in this trailer for a few years now. It was far worse when I moved in. Should have documented it then, but I'm documenting it now. As you can see, here is the kitchen faucet. This is not the kitchen faucet that was in here when I moved here. I had to replace it with this one. You can't tell by the video, but this is one of the benefits of living in this trailer. You get double the cold water. It's because there's no hot water. Hasn't been for over a year. Hello? Were you calling me? Oh. One of the benefits of living in here is this absolutely huge bathtub. There's another benefit hanging right over it. Want to see it? Upside down pyramid. Well, not really. So what's the story here? What's the backstory? When you look at damage, there's always a story to be told. Not everybody can see it. But there's more to the story than just reading damage and figuring out what caused it and how long it went on and blah, 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 blah. But we gotta get there. Well, let's roll back a little further. Well, in the context of me. So this belongs to a friend. We'll call him a friend. Don't know if he's still a friend. Anyway, I was in Texas during COVID and I wanted to move back. And I was trying to rent something long distance, sight unseen. And I wasn't having any luck. And then I realized this dude had this empty trailer. He'd been living in here with a girl And then she left him, and he can't live alone, right? So he just moved out, left all his stuff here, all of his stuff, all of it, just walked away and went to live with his parents again. And so I knew this was empty, and I asked him several times, in fact, do you want to rent it? Because he wasn't working, he didn't have a job. The dude wasn't working for like 6-8 years, and then now I think he's working now, says he is. So thought he could use some extra money to rent. So this is a trailer in a trailer park. There's a lot fee that he has to pay, right? And at the time it was $325, something like that. And in the first year of living here, it went up $25, so it went to $350, and then another $20. It just keeps, the lot fee just keeps coming up. It's currently $375. And he finally said yes, right? He had 3 weeks. 3 weeks to do stuff, to get ready for me coming. And he couldn't agree upon like what he wanted from me in rent. He couldn't make a decision. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna have to figure that out when I get here, is what it ended up being. I wasn't too happy with that, because I'm just like, what is going on? What is going on? So a friend of mine showed up in Texas with a van I paid for. Alex and I loaded stuff in the van, loaded the 2 dogs, and here we are on the road from Texas to here. And we contacted the dude when we were in Baton Rouge. Hey, we're on our way. Can you meet us there? Because we know there's stuff, we got stuff to do. We got a time crunch. It's hot. It was really, really hot. And he said, yeah. So we get here, and we had to wait like almost 4 hours for him to show up. But then he wouldn't let us right in the trailer. He said, oh no, don't come in yet. Don't come in yet. Don't bring the dogs in. And my dogs were just suffering, right? Suffering. They wanted to get out of the heat. I'm like, come on, man, what's going on? And he goes in, and I said, Alex, hold my dogs. I want to go and see what's going on. And I walk in, and there's just junk everywhere. Stuff piled on top of stuff. It's dirty as, yeah. It's looking bad, right? And I see holes in the ceiling. I knew what was up. He told me some things, but he made it sound good, but it was worse than he made it sound. So you know what he was doing? You know why I couldn't bring my dogs in? Because the son of a bitch was in here picking up rat poison. He said he had mice, and so he put out rat poison, but every little block of rat poison he picked up hadn't been nibbled on. And he said, yeah, there's mouse shit everywhere. It was palmetto shit. It wasn't mouse shit. It was, those cockroaches everywhere. It wasn't rats or mouse shit. So he sees like palmetto shit, thinks he has mice, puts a ton of poison out. And I said, dude, have you got it all? I got dogs, I don't. And this is the old style poison. It smells like peanut butter. Dogs think it's a treat when they find it, right? And so, oh yeah, I got it. And instead of taking it out of the house, some bitch just puts it in a garbage pail and sticks that up on top of the refrigerator and walks away. You're going to find that theme persisting in this video. Walking away. Leaving it to me. And so, I'm like looking around, and I'm just like, my goodness. Okay, so let's roll back a little bit. What's up with the holes in the ceiling? Well, before I showed up, about almost 2 years before that, there was a hurricane that made a tree come down onto this trailer. And that tree punched through the roof. The roof is metal, like aluminum, right? So there was a hole here above the bedroom, but not so much above the bathroom. And then there was a hole where the laundry room is, where that hallway with the washing machine and dryer. So it was leaking there, and leaking in here. Oh. But it wasn't necessarily leaking in the bathroom. It was leaking in the bedroom. So what's up with the water damage in here? I'll get to that. It's different. Not the same damage. It's water damage, but not from that tree. From something else. So, on the phone before I got here, he told me, oh, I got a tarp up on the roof, so it's not leaking. When I got here, there was a tarp on the roof, but it was in a pile, and it was not over any holes. It was leaked. So, he let water leak in here for about almost 2 years. Water damage coming in. So you got problems with the floor because of that. If you just let something like that go, it's like when people who live in rentals constantly leaving, or even a house they own, constantly leaving the window open even when it's raining. Eventually the window just falls off the house and the wall falls because everything will rot. If you don't take care of a problem, it just gets bigger in these old houses and old trailers, especially a trailer like this. If you don't arrest the development of a problem, at least arrest the development of it, it's gonna just snowball. And that's what we got going on here. Like shit just snowballed on this guy because he was inactive. He didn't really do anything. Nothing. He had 3 weeks, he didn't do anything, you know? So let's finish the story here. I get all this stuff in with Alex. The dude and his dad are still here, but they're outside in the back. And I realize there's no water. Once I got all my stuff in, I go to the tap because my dogs are thirsty. There's no water. And I'm like, what's up? And I go and I find these guys. They're in the back. The hot water heater is outside in the back. That's kind of a common thing in older houses in this area. Not so much trailers, but older houses. This trailer was designed to have the hot water heater inside, not outside. So somebody took it upon themselves to put it outside for some reason. I asked, why is this outside? Oh, because it leaked one day, and I was like, no, I don't want that to happen, so let's put it outside. Put it outside where, you know, it's in the weather and it's just going to get destroyed. So all the pipes leading to it and off it, you know, the incoming and the outgoing, cold and hot, they were all just destroyed by a freeze. And these gentlemen were sitting there trying to fix it, and it just kept failing. Why was it failing? They didn't know what they were doing. That's why. They were doing half the process, not the full process. They weren't priming, and they were using the wrong kind of glue. They were using the kind of glue you use when you're constructing something with paper and cardboard, not when you're constructing something with PVC pipes. So I said, hey, just stop this, what you're doing, and go. I'll fix it myself, because you're never going to get it done. You don't know what you're doing. But I had to be nice. I can't always point out the obvious, because people get upset when they feel like I'm calling them dumb. And I am, but trying not to use that word, right? You just don't know what you're doing, and you're refusing to admit that you aren't doing it right. So you need to stop. Either you listen to me and when I tell you how to do it and you do it that way, or you just get the F off the property and let me do it, because one of those is going to work out better. Either you listen and you do it right, or you get the and let me do it, because I'll do it right. And that's what I had to do. But that's not the end of that story. The origin story of this. They go. I had to get some water. I had to get some beer, which I don't get anymore, but I got some light beer and I got some cheap burgers. And I'm just going to chill with the dogs. I walk inside. I come into the bedroom where I have the AC on, and I see my little dog looking up at me, happy, 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 because look what I found. It smells like peanut butter, son of a bitch. Luckily, there were no teeth marks on this block of rat poisoning. And I took it away. Obviously I did. And I was pissed. Pissed. Pissed that this house was not together. Pissed about everything. And I almost lost my little dog. Very pissed. I'm still pissed. Why should I pay what they want? Because, you know, the deal was, oh, this is so bad. We know. Just give us the lot fee. And it just kept getting worse. Kept raising it. Now it's like over double the lot fee. And nothing's gotten better. Nothing's gotten fixed. I ended up fixing that hot water heater, got it going, and then it just died. And the guy wanted to buy like a $50 hot water heater off Craigslist that is going to run you a lot in electricity because it's not efficient, but he wanted me to look for it. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not the landlord, this isn't my responsibility, but I wanted hot water, so let's just go. I had money. I went and I bought a new hot water heater, and he refused to like just pay me back right there, so it had to like come off the rent in increments, right? And this is outside. I ended up having to build a box again with my money, and he pays me back in increments, not all at once off the rent, but in increments. He's always crying poor, right? Doesn't work. So eventually the hot water heater that I bought a couple of years later or more dies. It's just the thermostats, and he refuses to go get them because he doesn't think it's his responsibility. He acts as if everything should be my responsibility, but that's not how it works. And in the state of Louisiana, tenants don't have a lot of rights, but we have some. Every room is supposed to have a working ceiling fan. Anything that was here, as far as systems go, ACs, refrigerator, washer, dryer, those have to continue working, and the washer and dryer don't have a lot of life left in them. The washer leaks, the dryer squeaks really loud, the refrigerator doesn't go as cold as it should, the floor is caving in the kitchen, and I recently went for 5 days in this house without running water because he couldn't get up off his ass to go get a $10 part that I had no money for, and a friend of mine was like, shit, here, go get it. And I went and I got it. I had to take this wall down. That's why I showed you the canvas. I had to take the wall down to get to it and fix it. And now I'm back to like double the cold water, so that's pretty cool. I get twice the cold water. I need to just go get the thermostat myself, and I'm probably going to end up doing that, but I make content for 3 different channels now, and I'm constantly trying to make content as much as possible for my other channel, my main bread and butter channel, M Hood Fishing, and sometimes I can't because of the weather, such as today. It's hot as balls and it's about to rain, and I'm stuck in this bathroom sweating my ass off because it's hot in here. Yeah, you're right. People wonder why I get lit. Why do you think I get lit? I don't want to be walking around angry all the time. That's why. So why should I pay double the lot fee for this piece of shit? To be treated like this, all on my own, as if I own this decrepit, falling apart trailer, because trailers depreciate fast. The older they are, the more they're gonna depreciate. They don't become worth more money over time. Only in someone's mind, someone's dumb mind, do they think that these are worth more money, more now than what they paid for it then. Even if this guy didn't buy this brand new. This trailer has changed hands many times. It's been sitting here for a long time in this one spot. And the thing about where this is sitting, the thing about this trailer park, this was not a trailer park to begin with. This was an RV park. So the slab it's sitting on was not poured for a trailer. It was poured for an RV or, a camper trailer. So there's only a slab under half this trailer. The back end is sitting on dirt, and nobody's been jacking it up since it's been here. So you got, lots of rot, lots of that, got lots of problems, and no money coming in. It's just money coming out of my pocket to live here as it gets worse and worse. It's going to be uninhabitable. That's the story of so many of these trailers that people aren't putting money back into. Shit. To get this up to par, you almost have to take it all the way down to the metal, replace almost everything, every piece of wood. Now you could piecemeal this and not necessarily do that, but once you open the walls, you're going to find a lot of rot. So you're going to have to replace a lot of studs, and they're not all studs. Some of the studs in the wall are actually 1x1. These weren't built like it was the Sistine Chapel. Not the same kind of workmanship, not the same kind of craftsmanship. Craftsmanship. That's what this is. Yeah, you're right. Stuff just breaks constantly in these things. So why should the rent go up? Now, it's still under market value for this area. This area, the rent is gouged up because of out-of-town workers. So this is still under market value, but market value here, is 10% over the national average already for this town. It's already high. The cost of living is high. Why should the quality of life in here be far below what you're paying to live in here, right? Because it's not getting any better. And for it to get better, it has to be on my time and my dime, and that's not how it works, because my time and my dime is about running a business. I run a business. I run 3 different channels, and I'm only making money off of one, and I don't make a lot of money. Yeah, you're right. Long ass rent, sitting in a hot ass bathroom. I need to get lit, but I don't want this to be age restricted. Yeah, you're right. Why should I? This is the first of the month, so why should I pay? Want to pay something, but I'm sick of getting ripped off, getting took advantage of. Somebody just extracted my wealth and bringing my quality of life down at the same time. I mean, there's a lot of other things to complain about living in here. It's a heat wave right now. Air conditioner barely works. Everything's covered in metal on the outside. Metal roof that's painted black, which is dumb. It just soaks up the heat. And then we got all this noise. It just comes in here like nothing. Really busy highway right there, and busy stuff right here directly across from where this is. 24/7. During this heat wave, I've been able to get some sleep, maybe 5 hours at a time, and then I wake up, even with the AC running, I wake up covered in sweat, and then it's loud. Some noise wakes me up, but the heat also wakes me up. I want to get out of here, but how can you get out of a place like this when the rent just keeps coming up and the cost of living keeps coming up? It's difficult. You have to work harder. That's how you do it. You work harder. So the idea here is to stop being took advantage of, being ripped off, work harder. M Hood's Boom is probably never going to get monetized, but it could get. But this channel has potential for being monetized. I need to make a lot more money to get out of here. I do not like living in this trailer. I'm getting took advantage of, ripped off, and the quality of life is getting worse. Pretty soon, like I'm just going to be forced to rebuild a floor out of my pocket. And other things. In the bedroom here, the floor is buckling. And you in other videos, you see me sleeping on the floor. And nobody is like asked. Some friends ask me, why do you sleep on the floor? Friends who don't know. Friends who do know why I sleep on the floor. It's good for my posture, and there's another reason, something I haven't told you. Something that would just creep you out. Freak you out. Something else I had to deal with. Another part of the story. Probably the darkest part. And I didn't know. I was not told. But I had questions when I walked in here. It was like when I walked in, like I said, there was stuff everywhere, junk everywhere, trash everywhere. Trail going through the living room to the bedroom. And in the living room was a brand new cheap ass mattress covered in plastic. And in the bedroom was a bed frame with a dirty, nasty looking box frame sitting on it. Of course there was furniture in here, and someone said, oh, you got a furnished apartment. No, I wouldn't say that, but yes, there was furniture in here, but when you look in the drawers were full of like clothing that had been in there for like 10 years, and all the underwear was color coded. Brown in the back, yellow in the front. Some people don't know the difference between the front and the back when it comes to whitey-tighties, so they just go without wiping for a while so it gets color coded and it's easy. You know, in bad lighting, you always know where the back and the front is. My goodness, that is so disgusting, right? That's what was in the drawers. Anyway, I asked the guy, can I use this mattress? Because I didn't show up with a bed. I was just gonna sleep on the floor because I like sleeping on the floor. It's good for my posture, good for my back. A lot of times when I lay down, I'm in pain. I'm not in pain when I wake up. I don't want a hump on my back like the landlord. I'm not a hunchback. I don't want to be a hunchback. I want good posture as I go into old age. I want to be strong. I'm all about my health because, yeah, I'm in my 50s and I don't want to be feeling like I'm in my 80s when I'm only in my 50s, especially when I get through my 60s. I don't want to feel like I'm in my 80s when I'm in my 80s. Long-winded, I know. It's a long story. So, can I use this mattress? Yes, you can. Okay. Because, you know, otherwise, I'm throwing your box springs away. And he didn't want me to throw any of this junk away and this trash. I asked, are you going to take your stuff out of here? No. Well, you see, I never agreed to storing his stuff. I said, well, I want you to take your stuff out. You can't. I'm not going to do that. So, there we go. Legally, if there's an agreement, the landlord can store stuff in the unit if you agree. I never agreed. I wanted to take this out. And he wanted to bring more. I said, no, you can't store stuff here. You need to take your stuff out. And he refuses to take it out. He refuses to just do stuff, right? So I'm stuck with his stuff. He refuses to take it out. So if there's no agreement, in Louisiana, landlords can't store stuff in your unit. If they want to store stuff, it has to be like an outbuilding. They can do that, but they cannot, because, you know, it's all about the lease, right? And I do have one. I have a month-to-month lease that still says the rent is like $325. I have a legal document. It says that's what my rent is. The guy kept raising the rent without changing the lease because he doesn't know how to be a landlord. Definitely doesn't know how to be a good one. I mean, it's just like he becomes a landlord like instantly a slumlord, right? Instant. And he didn't even know what that is, what a slumlord is. That's what you are. That's what you are. Anyway. The camera overheated. It's a heat wave. It's hot. Field temp is over 100 right now. It's the hottest part of the day pretty much. We're just now coming into afternoon. It's super hot. In a couple hours it's going to be raining. Had to come in here, give it some time, let the camera cool down. Why do I sleep on the floor now? I like sleeping on the floor, but there's a reason. When I got in here,
I wasn't sleeping on the floor. I was sleeping on a brand new mattress and a nasty looking box springs. But when I looked at the box springs, I'm like, why does that look like that? So I asked the guy, hey, why is there a brand new mattress and an old box springs here? Oh, when my girlfriend left, she owned the mattress. I was like, wait a minute, she owned the mattress and you owned the box springs? Yeah. And I thought in the back of my mind, I don't think I believe that. So I was in here for a while, maybe almost a year or so, and I noticed something one day, and it creeped me out. Can you guess? Do I have to say it? Bed bugs. This trailer was infested with bed bugs. I told the landlord, your trailer's infested with bed bugs. Oh, that's not my fault. I didn't have bed bugs when I lived there. I didn't get bed bugs until I started scrapping when I was at my parents' house. And I said, I bet your truck's infested too. Oh, I only found a few in there. It's not infested. I said, dude, you found them in your truck. Yeah, but it's not infested. I've only found a few. Like, do you know what a few bed bugs do when they get together? They make more bed bugs. Yeah, so, okay, here we go. Like, landlord's responsibility, because we don't have a lot of rights as tenants in Louisiana, but we do have some. Landlords have to keep up the system. Systems that were, like, if there were no ACs and you buy your own ACs, window units, well, you're responsible for that. But if you move into a unit and it has ACs, and they're the landlord's ACs, he's responsible for that, or she is. By law, ceiling fans have to be in these units. These ceiling, the one in here died. He wouldn't replace it. One in the kitchen never worked, so there's only 2 working ones in here. But there were 1 per room, right? 1 in the bedroom, 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the back bedroom. So that's 4. So when we have 2, there should be 4 working ones. If there's a washer and a dryer, that's the landlord's responsibility. If there's a refrigerator in here, when you move in, that's their responsibility. Now this has central air and heat, but that's never, when I moved in here, that wasn't working. That's his responsibility to keep that working, but it wasn't working when I got in here. Plumbing, that's the landlord's responsibility. So is extermination. If there's a bug problem in the unit, it's the landlord's responsibility to deal with that, and he refused to deal with it. I don't have them anymore. I could, and I just don't realize it, but I check all the time. I had to spend a lot of my own money and time. It's a huge effort. They're very, very difficult to get rid of, and he wouldn't cover any of it because he wanted to blame me. It's my fault. I brought him in somehow, like because a shop at Walmart or Ollie's. No, they came from him. They came from him. He admits he's had bed bugs in the house he lives in for almost 10 years. He's had them here too. There's a bed bug epidemic going on right now across America. Sometimes there's an epidemic and there's bed bugs everywhere, and then the bed bugs just disappear. It comes in waves, right? When you travel around right now, you're gonna see people throwing mattresses away all the time. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna get a free mattress. Yeah, you're gonna get a free mattress. But you're also gonna get a colony of bed bugs, because I guarantee you, every mattress you see out on the street right now is infested with bed bugs. Not a lot, not all of them. There's gonna be 1 or 2, but why take the chance, right? And I never brought anything like that in here, a mattress. Like, I brought my own blankets. Everything if I find a nice shirt in the garbage, just as a rule of law, I've always just like, it just goes straight to the washing machine, right? And then the dryer. The heat of the washing machine can kill them, but it's the heat of the dryer kills the bed bugs in your bedding. It's got to get really, really hot. It works. Otherwise, in here you got a spray. You can spend a lot of money, as much as you want, on the spray and all the other things, or you can pay a lot of money to get an exterminator to do it and still not get them all, because they can hide in stuff. You got to declutter. You got to spray. You got to even like spray inside the walls and stuff, and then use those foggers. And you got to treat. It's not one treatment that gets them. It's just keep going. But if you don't throw away that mattress and that box springs and other things they get in, like your office chairs and whatever, you ain't getting rid of them. They're going to be hiding deep somewhere, even inside the walls, even behind sockets, behind the baseboards, underneath the carpet, because there's carpet in these old trailers. I hate carpet. I have dogs and cats, and I detest carpet. I want to just rip that shit out of here, but I can't because I'm renting this piece of shit. So, eventually, after a lot of time and money, and we're talking a lot of money, I got it tackled, and I had to replace a lot of things. I just got that mattress and box springs out of here, and for a second, I didn't sleep on the floor. I got a cheap, not super cheap, but a decent air mattress until, because I have dogs. It lasted for a few months, it started leaking, and it really was putting my back in a lot of pain. And I was like, well, this was just dumb. Let's just do what I want. I want to sleep on the floor. Once a month, I still treat. What I do once a month is I throw foggers in here in the whole trailer, and me and the dogs disappear for a long time. That's what we do once a month. It keeps the fleas in control, and if there's still those bed bugs in here, and I try to not let that guy in here, because I'm always worried that he's going to reinfest if he comes in, because he's they're probably crawling all over him, and I don't want to get in his truck. When I lived in New York back in the day, I had to deal with bug infestations all the time, because New York was really bad for head lice, body lice, and scabies. And then, we started to get the Guatemalan body lice, and these lice that were like head lice and body lice. The Guatemalan body lice, shit, those things were so big, you could live off them like a chimpanzee. Wearing them thermals in winter, and them Guatemalan body lice could crowd out one square of the thermal. Big, like ticks. Ah, my goodness. So, from that experience in New York, I really just, when somebody knowingly is infesting me, they come in the house and they say, oh, I don't have bugs. But they do, and they know they do. It's hard to respect. You can't trust that person when you realize they've lied to you and they've cost you money and time by infesting you, knowingly infesting you. Yeah, so that's a good reason just to refuse when they want to raise the rent. No, because you're breaking the law. It is your responsibility to take care of these things, and you don't do it. You want to put it on me. You don't want to pay. You don't want to take responsibility. You don't want to say, yes, it's my fault. You don't want to admit to it. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to work. You don't responsibility. Some people, responsibility is like kryptonite. They don't want to take it. They don't want kryptonite. It's like rotten milk. I hate rotten milk. It's like it's their rotten milk. I absolutely detest the smell of rotten milk. If anything just has a hint of rotten milk smell to it, I'm moving away from it. Yeah, you're right. So that's why I sleep on the floor, because some people can't be trusted. So why should I? pay double the lot fee. When I feel like I'm on my own, no one's taking responsibility for what they should, and it's all me. As if I own this. And I would never own this. I would never purchase this. It is not a good investment. Not at all. It's about as dumb as what Thailand just did. Thailand just snubbed $1 billion industry. Now you can't legally get it in your smoothie because they can't handle their responsibility and regulate and all that. So they're just like, oh, let's just not do this anymore. Yeah, okay. We can agree on that. Let's not do this anymore. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry I'm so long-winded here, but now you can understand why I want to get lit all the time. So I'm not walking around angry. Otherwise, I'm angry all the time because of the conditions I'm living in and the attitude that I have to deal with. And then the rent just keeps coming up. Something breaks, seems like the rent comes up, but it doesn't get fixed unless I fix it out of my pocket. That's not how it works. That's not how renting in Louisiana should work. My goodness. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.